Welcome back to Too Real. We have another tier list video for you. This time, we're going to be talking about the greatest of the Halo games.
This list obviously includes everything on the bottom row. This does not include offshoots like the twin stick shooter or Halo Wars 1 and 2, but it does include ODST.
Yeah, ODST has Infinite in there. It's all the mainline stuff. So,
yeah. Personally, I would put Halo Wars 1 in S tier just because I played it too much, but that's just my own personal opinion.
All right, so we're gonna kick it out. We're gonna go in order of the games released. Me and Green Guy here have an extensive, like most of you out there, history with the Halo franchise. Love them. Even Infinite, it's not that bad, but it's not that great.
The campaign's great. I really like the campaign. The multiplayer, take it or leave it.
Save it for the Infinite, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Halo. Fact about.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Fun fact about Halo 2 is that Orange Guy and I had a video on YouTube about a like kind of a cheesy way of beating that bridge section like halfway through the game, and when we were like 10 years old.
I would say this is a while ago, yeah.
And it's classic old YouTube recorded using a camcorder. Yep. Looking at a TV. So it was it's fun. We have a lot of history with Halo.
Pretty good stuff. Yeah, I do. I can even picture my brain just hanging out in the room, just like we're making a YouTube video. Got this new hotness online. That was probably 2006.
It had to be.
Yeah.
It was before Halo 3 came out for sure.
Yeah, it was. I still remember the hype when Halo 3 was coming out.
Yeah, so do I.
All right, so but in order, Halo Combat Evolved, the first one.
Okay, so like it is iconic because of the music and how it started the franchise, but it is kind of bare bones.
Well, it's a first in the franchise.
Yeah, and I don't want to put it automatically at S tier just because it is the first in the franchise. But Halo Custom Edition with all the mods back in the day was really cool.
Yeah. So with Halo Combat Evolved, when that first dropped, my brothers brought home the Xbox original, and I remember them hooking it up, and they played this game. And my experience up to that point with new systems, especially the FPS genre, the most advanced I'd seen up to that point was probably Perfect Dark.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Seeing them, especially when they dropped into the second level in that game in like 2001, and having seen them shoot a rocket launcher and flying across like a large bit of the field with all the vibrant colors and blood and all that stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, how did this happen? What is happening? I was just looking like confused. I was like, what is this Magic X machine that they're playing? And
so what are you advocating for, like an S or an A tier?
I was enamored, and I think the historical value of this game is great, and Xbox wouldn't be around without it.
I will settle for a solid A tier.
Yeah, so well, I mean, we've got exceptional, great, good, average, bad, garbage. I would say great. Or you know what? Great. Yeah. If we want to talk about this from looking back, yeah, it's if we're also gonna like talk about like replayability in their rank, very replayable. In which case, I'll put it in great. A little dated, great, but I'd still feels great. Really good to play. So
yeah.
All right, so Halo Combat Evolved.
2.
Halo 2. So this is real. Well, this one here is just a real motherfucker. It's so good. I love Halo 2.
Campaign is slightly too long.
I think there's a lot of nonsense in it. I mean, including the last spoiler, by the way, including the last boss. Like, it's not even a real boss. It's just a brute that's a little bit more active than the others. And he's just grab hammering you off of an arena. That's a little anticlimactic. I know a lot of people are pissed off the way it ended, because it was like, this game was 2004. It took until 2007 for Halo 3 to come out, so everyone was just like, "Oh, it's just such bullshit. They're just doing this, egging us on." A lot of people thought it wasn't that great of a campaign. I probably have some nostalgia glasses on because I replayed this thing constantly. I love Halo 2. Love the multiplayer. Got a bunch of time out of that. I played Xbox Live on it because my brother's got Xbox Live. And wow, it was cool.
I never had Halo 2 on Xbox Live. I only played it single player, and I still played the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously, like we were talking about before, you and I played this together. I used to play it with my older sister, and it's an amazing game. I think the campaign is a little too long, and it does kind of like go off on tangents, but I would put it into the great category just for the fact that it really expanded on what Halo was at the time.
Yeah, like especially a little clever, just like coming out with the dual wielding. It's just like, haha, two Halo 2, 2 guns.
It was sick as hell back then. Honestly,
it really was.
It blew my mind.
Especially being able to mix and match. That was pretty crazy. And I will say, like, as far as the campaign's pacing, for me, just changing and doing those couple missions as the Arbiter, I remember always thinking like, like shit, is this part of the game?
Yeah.
But you know, you kill the truths or whatever they are, those guys, those old dudes, and you get back to being Master Chief, and you just go ahead, Tony Hawk, ride your way to kickflip heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing that I did like about the Covenant section when you were playing as Arbiter, you did have the invisibility that actually worked.
Having that as an active ability, kind of like Chief's flashlight, was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, playing as him was cool. It was a good section. I just didn't like the mission design that much. Because I don't like environments that are just metallic, which is a lot of what the Covenants are because it's on their ships or their structures.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a lot of what that is.
So where are we putting Halo 2?
Halo 2, I think, was leaps and bounds, 100% right direction, great game. Couple gripes with the campaign, but not enough for me to knock it down. I want to call it exceptional.
Exceptional. All right, I'd be down for that.
Or we could save room. We can. What?
I was gonna say the remake that they came out with for the Master Chief Collection, still some of the best graphics I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I'll say the remake really spruced it up. It looked amazing. I am willing to keep it in line here, just like, hey, we're just keeping it going. It's looking great.
I'd agree with that.
With great? Okay, because there's a couple gripes there. Okay.
Yeah.
All
now, I have a lot of nostalgia for Halo 3. It is my favorite game of all time. I would put into exceptional just purely for the fact that the Xbox Live integration was amazing. The campaign was slightly too short, but the campaign was exceptional. The music was incredible. The story was great. They added a lot of stuff. Forge was awesome. The multiplayer actually worked pretty well, and it brought in the Xbox 360 generation and was the flagship for years.
Yeah, I remember the hype leading up to this. Halo 3 was coming out. I remember watching TV and seeing that Believe ad campaign going.
Oh, it's so good.
With like
so good.
The fictional veterans of like the wars up there, just like, I remember seeing Master Chief, and he just came out and ripped a fat dab. And they had that whole mural set up with that thing, with all the little action figures and recreating that like scene. And whoa, like this thing has some pog ass marketing. And then when it dropped, I remember I hyper focused on the wrong fucking thing, man. So when I saw that campaign and Master Chief threw down the bubble shield, I was like, oh my god, he has a bubble shield. Like, I was getting really excited about that for some reason.
The marketing campaign was so cool. I can vividly remember that mural you're talking about with like the individual figures and everything. It was it really expanded upon the lore a lot, and the marketing was really focusing on kind of like the hopelessness of the fight, which kind of harkened back somewhat to actually Lord of the Rings in a way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Return of the King really like focuses on that, and Halo 3 also focused on that same feeling of like, oh shit, we're gonna lose. And you know, it had a bunch of DLC packs that were actually pretty cool. It had a way to get recon.
Recon was this is his first outing.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah,
it was a whole thing. So I would put Halo 3 into exceptional purely for the fact that it is instrumental in the online multiplayer space that we live in today. I don't think if Halo 3 was as popular and as streamlined, granted it had its problems, online multiplayer would not be in the same spot that it would be today.
I do agree with that it got probably boosted the install base an incredible amount, and then because this was like, you know, your big boy multiplayer game to play. Gears of War was pretty hot at the time on it too, and then obviously Modern Warfare dropped. But I think I think Halo 3 probably did a pretty good job making sure that everyone was installed playing online multiplayer at that point.
Yeah.
So I think, I agree. That's pretty important for it. But yeah, everything from the marketing, the actual story itself. I remember thinking initially too, I agree with you that when I first played it as a kid, I was like, well, that was short. But I don't know, maybe I was just kind of like expecting some more Halo 2 bullshit. It's like, that's really long.
Yeah. Maybe Halo 2 was just really long.
And then everything about it's just amazing. The maps on there, the recreations reaching back to Halo 2 because they redid Last Resort and or aka Zanzibar. All those, and just made so much like callbacks so much better. The multiplayer was just amazing. You got all kinds of like cool internet content out of it, like the matchmaking series from Machinima.
My God, so
I know
good.
Machinima, not a cool company, whatever, but they made some fun stuff back in the day.
And honestly, if Halo 3 wasn't as big as it is online, like YouTube, is what we're doing right now in the same spot that it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you had stuff like that, Machinima going crazy off it. You had RV and the Chief. I still remember so much stuff like just associated with the popularity of Halo 3 back in the day.
Yeah. Like I said, Halo 3 I think might be my favorite game of all time. So
it truly is the landmark of Halo.
Yeah. So. In my opinion, it's the best Halo game, but that's up for debate.
So it looks like we agree. Exceptional. Halo 3 is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna get too much water out of me here.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 review.
Now, ODST, I remember ODST coming out vividly because it came with all the multiplayer DLC for Halo 3, and it came with the one like single piece of paper that was like advertising Reach, and which was hype as hell.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that made ODST important was that it would allow you to get the Reach achievements. No, not the Reach achievements, the recon achievements to able to get recon in Halo 3. But it didn't have multiplayer in terms of PvP. It had firefight. The story was different, but I don't think that it was all that good. The actual open world was amazing, but the missions themselves were pretty lame.
So in a real quick, in a series punctuated and highlighted by amazing music, ODST has just one of the absolute best, most somber tracks when you're walking around the streets at nighttime in New Mombasa.
I'd agree.
It's just one of the coolest, just very slow, melodical, like just pieces of music in the entire series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's just like a crazy thing to say when like Halo, like all around, has just great music.
Yeah,
everywhere. And then all of a sudden the spin-off game is just like, here, have this, you dumb bitch, and just shoves it in your mouth, tells you to love it.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I love me some like sad jazz. But the thing I think that is the biggest negative for ODST is that it felt like a giant DLC that they sold for $40 at the time.
I do remember kind of being upset when it was brand new that there was only firefight, because I did enjoy kind of having the more like the quicker time to kill, like the lighter shields, the more because you're playing as ODST, you're not Spartans anymore. You're just a guy.
You're just a guy.
I did enjoy the ODST team. I liked the story for the most part. It's cheesy. It's just, you know, campy dialogue and, you know, folks having a time. But yeah, the atmosphere in that game is significant, like how good it is.
Yeah. I don't think it lived up to the hype that it garnered, but it was a good departure for the Halo series that they have not tried to go back to.
Right. I just thought it was a cool side piece, worked out pretty good. The music alone, and that it contributed, as well as some of the cool different gun designs. I would say probably for me this ranks good.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I wish that they did go back to open world for Infinite, but it was not the same kind of thing.
Not at all. Yeah, not really.
But the music, I think, if it didn't have as good as music, it would be in the average to bad category.
Yeah, at least, yeah. If it didn't have that music, I agree. Like, it would probably be average.
Yeah. All right. So Halo Reach, which I think
this is
might
actually,
be the most.
This is 4. But we're going in order. You're correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Reach at the time was the most divisive video game that came out. 2010, I think, was the year.
I do. Sorry, I'm eating a cheese curd. I do remember. This was the one I was absolutely the most consciously hyped for. Because it was completely knee deep in everything else 360, and with this one coming out, I just bought completely into the hype. With my friends, our friends, they both know, my cousin, we were all just super hype and excited. I remember you got the statue edition, right?
Yeah, and that's still sitting in my closet in my parents' house.
Hell yeah, get that on display somewhere. I just remember that I was so hyped for this. Midnight release, played it constantly. I absolutely adore the multiplayer in this game. There was a lot of changes that, yeah, you're right, made a lot of people be like, oh, this sucks, and like I'm gonna sell it right away, like this is terrible. But I really enjoyed the change of pace with a lot of it. I thought the DMR was fun. I thought the overall mechanics and controls, with granted they are stiffer than Halo 3, I like that it was more stringent. There was less, to me, this could be completely untrue, it felt like there was less aim assist within that game, and that might just not be true at all, but it felt that way.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Halo Reach. I thought the campaign was pretty fun. I think the campaign is actually probably on a technically the least epic out of all of them.
I'd agree. I'd agree with that,
because you don't got your lady man, you don't got Chief, you know, he's trapped in some coffin, just waiting for a capsule to be put in his butt. So
yeah. The thing that I think that Reach did best was that it had a really fun tracking system that let you level up. So like, you know, it was kill like 1,000 grunts or whatever, get a certain amount of headshots, and it was really cool to see that get expanded upon, and it had a cool tracking system. Forge World was amazing. I mean, we had meetings in Forge World as like 15-year-olds at the time, right? So like, I just remember hanging out in Forge World. That was so cool, and such a cool expansion on that concept. And it just kind of like streamlined a lot of what Halo 3 was lacking in. The multiplayer for Halo 3 had a lot of problems. Sometimes things wouldn't update. Sometimes you would lose ranking systems and you would not know why. But Halo Reach, I feel like, really solidified that and made it more of a streamlined gaming experience for the multiplayer.
Yeah. Go for it.
But it was very imbalanced. The armor abilities kind of were not very fun for the most part, and the invasion game mode was cool, but like, who cares?
Yeah. So yeah, as far as armor abilities, obviously that's the big stink for a lot of people coming from like Halo 3 perspective, stuff like that. Um, armor lock. I liked playing a lot of big team, and obviously that's a pretty casual mode. Armor lock was definitely powerful, to say the least.
Yep.
To have on you, and also just in things like Social Slayer, or anything like that, armor lock is also very good, because if you fully locked it and someone walked near you, which a lot of people, and just ain't never gonna learn, you can just pop their shields and beat them down.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that, but honestly, I just think, in my opinion, I just like the multiplayer so much, and it seemed easy enough to adapt to. It just didn't bother me that much.
It was, yeah, if you could get over the fact that it wasn't Halo 3, it was a fun game.
That's where a lot of our peers got hung up, I think. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty average opinion. I mean, like, if people could understand that it was not necessarily the same exact game as
just like
Halo 3.
It is quite different.
It was quite different, and I liked it a lot. I mean, I was there with you. I mean, I remember sophomore year or freshman year, we both bailed out of Homecoming that year and just went and played Reach.
Yep. Halo's more important. Yeah, from Forge World, like I said, like the campaign's not necessarily anything to write home about. It was fun to just jump into with friends, but as far as like any emotional swelling or a feeling of epicness, like you're watching some big old blockbuster, it really didn't capture that feeling for me. It was cool seeing your creative character in there, just hanging out. It's just, the whole time though, you're just like, well, he's gonna die.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the worst part, is that whoever you make and everybody you meet, they're gonna die, because like the lore is already established before that point.
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously it was very cool in its baseline for that meme, objective survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super fun. It was always fun replaying the last mission, seeing how long you could actually go, and then it actually gets freaking impossible. Yeah, that whole game, nothing but great memories from me, really. Obviously, a couple balance issues here and there. I enjoyed. It didn't have enough original maps. They did end up, releasing some cool original ones in DLC packs.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are remakes from old games within Forge World, which is cool until it was almost all of them. And then that would be my main complaint for multiplayer.
Yeah. So, are you feeling a good or an average or a great for this?
I feel like Halo Reach was great.
Okay.
I really liked it. It is arguably, I still go in between that and 3. I think 3 was ultimately the best and more impactful, but personally, I really love Reach.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
All right.
We even streamed that like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so Halo 4. So I do have to say that the Halo 4 initial reveal in like either June of 2012 or whenever that E3 was, it blew my mind as like a 16 or 17-year-old, because everybody thought that Halo was dead, like legitimately.
Everyone thought Chief was dead.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, it's going to be something new, and nobody expected Chief to come back, at least from what I was understanding at the time. And I say that in a sense of there was not as much connectivity to the internet and gaming news as much as it is now. And so like when this reveal happened, it just absolutely blew my mind. I got a little emotional watching E3 that year, and I still go back and watch that trailer because it was so incredibly hype.
Yeah, this is probably like 2011 or something. This game came out in 2012.
Was it 2012? Oh man.
Yeah, Halo 4 was 2012.
Wow. Campaign is kind of lame. I like the Forerunners. They tried to make it a new game, but it just never felt authentic to me.
Yeah, kind of touching base on what you said. The rumors leading up to the announcement were a lot of the fun for this for me. Because talking to my neighbors, all that stuff, just like, dude, they're going to be making a new trilogy. And I'm just like, what? How could they do that? Chief's dead. What do you mean a new Halo trilogy? We're past Halo time now.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's a new trilogy with Chief. I was like, no, but he's dead.
It makes no sense.
And then Yeah, all those debates, all the rumors that there's going to be 3 new games planned. And the revival of Chief, and a whole new era of Halo. So yeah, super hype, super excited to hear about Halo 4. Then you're right, yeah, that trailer dropped, and you got the screenshot of him and his new armor design.
Yep.
I remember thinking I love the armor design, but then I was also thinking, where'd he get it? How'd he change? What?
Yeah, the continuity doesn't make much sense.
When I initially got it, a fun fact about it for me personally, this was my last midnight release. Actually, that's not true. My second to last midnight release that I attended. My last one was Dark Souls 2.
Oh, you went to the Dark Souls 2 midnight release?
I did.
Huh, interesting. I remember when this game came out, I did not get it on midnight release because I was in a musical and I could not attend that.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember this little small town, just a bunch of people. It turned into a mock car system like stereo show, and then everyone went inside and got their game. Small town GameStop, you know what I'm saying? And picked up this game, played the shit out of it. There's loadouts in this one. They Call of Duty'd it up a little bit. I enjoyed a lot of the maps. I thought a lot of them were pretty well thought out. I just didn't think there were enough of them.
I would agree with that.
They got rid of a lot of the customization, and a lot of the art design made everyone look pretty generic.
Yeah, definitely.
So customization, coming from Reach into that game, it was like, well, this is some bullshit. And, so yeah, that part wasn't as cool. But there was still some customization there, which that's more than some of the future Halos can say now without being buried in microtransactions. So at least I was there. Big team was good. Everything controlled pretty well, I thought. It was a lot of people don't like it, but like when they add weight to an FPS, so like a lot of things were shaky and reactive, I did like that. I thought it felt pretty good, and it was just different. I embrace different most of the time. If it's the exact same, usually I'm one to lean towards, why am I playing? If it's the exact same thing. So kind of like, today's current Call of Duties, it's just like, why play Warzone 2 if it's really no different than Warzone, in my opinion? That kind of thing. Because it doesn't play any different to me, really.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slower. But yeah, Halo 4. I know I'm pausing a lot, but I did actually enjoy this one. This is probably the last Halo that I actually poured a decent amount of hours into. Just playing multiplayer and getting out with friends, having a good time with that. Oh yeah, is there any Forge to speak of in this game?
It from what I remember, it definitely increased the amount of customization you could do in Forge, but they didn't have a Forge world.
I feel like I never really played any of the custom games.
Yeah, neither did I. Because this was towards the end of high school for us, and end of high school or early college years. So I stopped playing games around this time for a long time. And so I got the very beginning of it, but the end of its life cycle I was not a part of. So in terms of life cycle and Forge, I don't remember much, but I do remember they added like a bunch of stuff to Forge, such as like snapping and angled stuff and a lot more customization, but they didn't do a Forge world, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, overall, Halo 4, in my experience, I still enjoyed the multiplayer. Single player, I thought was, pretty good, pretty average. Didn't like the art direction. No banger music to speak of other than what was already on the classics.
Yeah.
A lot of the good feelings were pre-release, rumors and oh my god, Halo's coming back. So that doesn't really lend too much to the game's positively there. If a lot of it was great before it came out. Ultimately, I feel like I like the game, but if I'm being realistic, I'd say it's pretty average.
I would put that there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
All right. So with that ranked, all right, pretty healthy list so far. You can see we like Halo. Several got into the great. Halo 5.
So I
yeah.
do have to admit, this is the only Halo I have never played the multiplayer for.
You never played the multiplayer?
I never played the multiplayer. I just bought it to play the single player when I was in graduate school, and that's all I know about this game.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. The multiplayer kind of sucks. So this one, you know, we had elements of loadouts and stuff Call of Duty before. There is now aim down sights in this one.
I remember that.
And speed. I think there's sliding too. So it's basically Call of Halo. So that's just the way they were going in like what 2014, 2015, whenever this was released.
Yeah.
2015,
I think.
And I played it. I remember thinking it wasn't the worst thing ever because I don't hate Call of Duty, but I definitely didn't want it to be my Halo game.
Yeah, I mean they're different games for a reason.
Exactly. But I remember the kills were punchy. You know, shields bursting and getting that one-shot kill felt good. I remember not finishing the campaign because I was ridiculously bored and did not like any of the level design. It was all waves, wasn't it?
Yeah, and this game did boss fights just like, hey, do you remember that boss from like 3 missions ago? Now imagine if there's 2 of them. And then there's another boss fight that's like, hey, do you remember that boss fight from 2 missions ago? Now imagine there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I feel like the marketing and the campaign don't mix well. They talk a lot about like Sergeant Locke hunting Master Chief, but from what I remember from the one time I played through it, it didn't really feel like that at all. It felt like a discontinuous story, and the best thing from this generation of Halo is the Halo 2 remake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree there. Halo 2 remake was a lot more sound than this game. Yeah, because 2014 was the Master Chief Collection, which, you know, obviously it's just a collection of these games, but that game was a fucking disaster when it came out.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so disappointing when it came out.
And it didn't even work for an extra 4 years, and it was spotty then. Sure, Master Chief Collection, it's a solid choice now. You go play all the Halo games and all their multiplayer. But holy crap, when I picked that thing up in 2014, I was just like mad. So I was like, what the hell? This is supposed to be the coolest thing ever. Getting off track there. Halo 5, yeah, I didn't have a great time. I played the multiplayer probably for under 10 hours. Tried the campaign and just didn't like it very much. And it was a download, so I couldn't return it. So it's just sitting on my Xbox library.
Yeah, same. Halo 5 is the only Halo game I have not beaten on Legendary to this day.
Yeah, because, I mean, no drive to.
I just don't want to.
So...
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't have that much more to say about it because I don't even know down to like specific characters. I couldn't even tell you anything Locke would have said or, you know, how he was in the campaign because I didn't finish it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And also, this was like just the worst level design in at least the first 2 to 3 missions I played. The Forerunners were annoying. I think that's almost all there was.
Yeah, I didn't play this game until like 3 or 4 years after it came out. So my view is looking at it from a kind of a backwards view, but yeah, it's the characters aren't memorable. The campaign's boring. The graphics look great.
Yeah, graphics look good. Also, it's never a good sign when you get a colon in your title. So like Halo 5 Guardians.
Yeah.
You know. It's like Silent Hill : Homecoming. It's like ain't good. That ain't good.
Yeah, ain't good. Ain't great. I put that in the bad or garbage category.
Honestly, I really dislike this game, so I think garbage. What do you think? In the bin?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. It's my least favorite Halo game for sure.
All right. All right. So, last but not least, the one that we have played most recently. But
so here's a hot take. I would put this, I'm just going to say this right away, I would put this into the great category.
Oh, damn.
Just for the fact that the campaign changed up a lot of what Halo is. It made it open world. I felt the campaign missions were fun, and in the beginning, the multiplayer was actually like, it reminded me a lot of playing Halo 3 and Reach. It really harkened back to Halo's roots in a lot of the ways, and has since gotten down, obviously, because 343 does not know how to handle a game, obviously, but this has been one of my favorite Halo games since Reach, by far.
Okay. So, full transparency here. I have not touched the campaign. I have seen plenty of videos, and I have seen plenty of Easter egg videos and gists of the campaign. I know a lot of it is set in kind of like open world, not necessarily huge open world, but like zones, right?
Yeah.
And you're basically, you got your typical mountainous, grassy field layouts with like bases around. And
yeah, it's like Far Cry.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was described to me. Far Cry, you're kind of taking over Covenant bases, and you're just trying to take over ground. And then it looked really repetitive when you get into like the structures. Again, I haven't played it, so really any of my commentary on it isn't that relevant. But yeah, from what I could see, it looked like the grapple hook was a cool mechanic.
Oh, it's so fun. So fun.
But yeah, the Cortana redesign and voice actress seems silly. I don't know if did they change the voice actress?
No, it's still the same voice actress, but she's not really in the campaign because I technically think she is Kill.
Well, she's like, I'm talking about new Cortana, I guess.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
Oh yeah. Who is actually Cortana? Yeah.
And
I don't know. I really liked it. It's the only game I've ever ranked into like the second highest tier of a multiplayer tier ever. So I would personally put it into great or good. It's not exceptional, but I would put it into the second or third category.
I really think the multiplayer came out pretty strong as far as feeling. I know content, it was pretty shallow. And all that stuff, and obviously modern gaming trends, not necessarily Infinite's fault, but all the fun stuff kind of being buried under real money transactions now. Like unlocking new armor and all that stuff. And that's a bummer, but I will say, playing the multiplayer and all the modes, it felt pretty solid. It was pretty good classic Halo. Ditched a lot of the pacing from Halo 5. And I'd say that was a pretty strong experience, and I think that made it pretty good. Not having touched the campaign, I really can't have a true opinion on it, other than what I've seen through videos. But you say it's pretty good. I'd say if we're going to average out our experiences, because I think the multiplayer is actually kind of strong as far as like feeling like a good Halo game, I would be willing to put this in good.
I'd agree with that. I'm okay with that.
All right. So, all right, that is all the mainline Halo entries in here. Obviously, Halo 3, that's not a huge surprise. That one's incredible. I would honestly, if you're asking me, we already debated this. I think that the first game might deserve a spot in exceptional, but it is a bit dated. So giving that range on it puts it to great. I think a lot of these kind of have their spot here. I would say I don't think anyone's going to argue about Halo 4 being average. So
yeah.
A lot of people might argue about this being great for this.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the. I think people saying like, how could you put Halo 2 and Halo Reach on the same tier is gonna be a big controversial thing, but I'm completely okay with that.
Yeah. But yeah, we're just a couple of Halo loving boys, and I hope you liked listening to this 40-minute long video of us talking about all of them, ranking them. If you want to see more tier lists, there's plenty of game franchises we both like, and we can break it down to who's got the coolest hat,
Best golfing game that's not PGA.
Hey, yeah, exactly. I think you pitched that before, so yeah, that might be one too. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you want to see more tier list videos. We're probably gonna do them anyway if we come up with the idea. There's gonna be we're going to be keeping with all our normal content, normal scheduled programming, but we have some different content ideas coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that.
Yep. See ya.
Later.